Hello again, fellow YouTubers. Today we are sort of doing a mid to long term review of the Traxxas Nitro Sport. This is my first Nitro car that I got. Got it, about a month ago? Not even. I got it on the first, I've had it for 16 days. So I got it on the 1st of July. I got it from a local hobby shop. I was actually up there looking for about a 16th to 18th scale car and a new transmitter, but I saw this for $300 and I just couldn't pass up the deal. And I really wanted something nitro. Pros and cons with it. For a starter engine, it's a pain in the ass. I will go ahead and say that. I will be doing a review that it's the T-Max that has a 3.3, the Traxxas 3.3 motor, the TRX 3.3. It's a lot easier to maintain, and I don't understand that because it's a bigger motor and it's a skill level 4. This is just a skill level 1. So that was sort of a question. With it, and you can see all the tools. Some of these are for the T-Max. There's quite a few tools. You get your glow plug remover. I have 4 extra glow plugs for it, and 2 OS engine glow plugs to reduce the compression ratio. It's just for, I don't know, just goofing around so I don't really beat on it. One question that I had when I first bought it was, how hot can it get? And the hobby shop owner said if you wet your finger with some spit and touch the top of the head, the cooling head, if it boils off, it's too hot. Well, I actually looked up this morning because I was tuning it, and I will tell you, get an infrared thermometer. It reads the temperature of the engine. I mean, some of them come with telemetry, but even then, that doesn't give you an exact temperature. So, get yourself an infrared thermometer. It helps a lot, especially when you're breaking it in is the biggest process that you really have to do. The first tank you run without the shell. You have to do 5 tanks, and this is for Traxxas engines to break them in correctly. The first tank is an entire tank, quarter throttle. Do it for 2 seconds and then let off. 2 seconds, let off. 2 seconds, let off until you've used up all the fuel. Second is half throttle. 2 seconds, let off. 2 seconds, let off. 2 seconds, let off. Third, and you put the shell on for the second. Third, again, is half throttle. But you go to 3 seconds. 3 seconds, let off. 3 seconds, let off. Man, just keep doing that. Fourth is it takes you to full throttle, but you do not, if it's equipped with a 2-speed transmission, do not let it shift, because when it shifts it puts a little more strain on the motor. This is just a single speed. You see with the Lexan body. One thing I had to do was I had to set my tie rods, because even with the tram turned all the way to the left, it was still turning right. So I had to adjust my tie rods, which are these right back here. It is a 2-wheel drive version. Now let's actually get to the guts of this thing. It idles pretty damn high. I haven't measured it yet. There's my new transmitter, which I'll also be doing a review of. the stock transmitter is the regular Traxxas TQ. This is actually the TQ1, which has Bluetooth. This is for my T-Max, but this is basically what a transmitter looks like that comes with this, but it doesn't have the second knob or the second button. It's just, or this. This is for reverse, once you buy the reverse kit. So what I did was, for $52, I bought a Fly Sky Titanium Edition. The nice thing about the Titanium Edition is it doesn't take AA batteries. It has a lithium battery. And it's weird, but it charges via USB, just like a phone. If you've ever seen a GoPro charger, that's exactly what it uses. Not this really small one. I have my binding plugs in here, so it's a little hard to get shut. This is a pain in the ass. But it's to make sure I'll never lose anything. Okay, here we go. So I'll be doing a review on that. 2.5 cc or 0.15 cubic inch plastic exhaust, 75 cc or 75, I believe, milliliter. I think it's about the same thing. Gas fuel tank. The steering servo is, I believe it's called the bell type. Instead of having just a whole linkage that everything has to do, like on the T-Max, there's a little white thing right up under here. I don't know how well you can see it, but on it, a tie rod is attached to it. It's basically a little circle with two little ears sticking out, and a tie rod's attached to each side. And it's a lot more efficient. There's a servo for the steering. Then you got servo for the brake and the throttle. Here's your air filter. Make sure you clean it every hour of use. I gotta clean mine today. Tuning, you have right up front where the basically where the valve is to open is the low speed screw. Right here up under these wires, I actually moved these wires. They were over here and they were up against the engine, so I moved them on the other side so the engine would not affect them. The engine's heat wouldn't melt them. I added some heat shrink to my glow plug starter because I noticed a lot of times that if it would flip or something, it would get pinched and the wire inside the shielding would split and you would have a bare wire. Comes with a 6-cell, I believe it's 7.2 volt, 1800 milliamp hour. I'm pretty sure this is 7. Let me see real quick. Yeah, 7.2 volt. But when it's charged, it's closer to about 8.9, I believe. Don't quote me. I'm not exactly sure. It comes with a it actually comes with a charger for charging it in the car. But I strongly suggest buying a fast charger. Even though the charger that comes with it is a fast charger, you still have to do it inside your car, and that is dangerous. So I have a Origin Radiant. It goes from 1 to 8 cells, so I charge everything from my tiny little, my tiny little low-C 1/24th scale 4-wheel drive short course truck that I like to play with inside, to my big 7-cell that I had for a brushed motor that I had in my electric. If you look back in some older videos, it's a Hellion Dominus 10 SC, but I changed out the ESC and the motor to a Castle Sidewinder SV3. A lot more power, still has stock transmission and everything, except I installed a slipper clutch, metal rear hubs, Traxxas bearings, universal joint axles instead of the stock axles where the dog bone can pop out. I changed out the transmitter in it also so it works with my Fly Sky. I absolutely love this, and I will do a review on this also. Couple things that I wish they would have done to this, but it always leaves room for advancement. The shock towers are plastic, going to be going aluminum. The A-arms are plastic, going to be going aluminum. This is a 2.5. The Pro 1.5 is actually a 2.5 cc, but I'm actually going to convert to the actual Traxxas TRX 2.5, so I'll have a little more power and it'll do wheelies and such. But that's about it with this. The only con that I've had is after you run it and it gets really hot, which this can actually run between 300 and 320 degrees and still be safe. I actually looked that up and I check it. The only time it really does that is if you have it leaned out, so to get the maximum amount of power out of it. I've had this clocked at about 42 miles per hour, so it's a quick little booger. I mean, it moves. The cool thing about the Fly Sky, I'll actually show this real quick. Always turn your transmitter on first. But if you watch this right here, the braking servo, if I turn my transmitter off, it automatically applies the brakes. So if it loses signal, I don't have to worry about, oh shit, I'm going to have a runaway. No, it's going to automatically apply the brakes. So I don't have to worry about that. So that's a really cool feature that comes with the Fly Sky. Has anti-lock brakes. I'll go over all that in the review for this. Then, again, this is titanium. Oh, crap. Got to turn the truck off first. I did go through a glow plug in the break-in process, but with my T-Max, I actually didn't. So I still have a spare glow plug. It's a little burnt. The stock one is a little burnt, but it still works fine. I wish they would have included some better parts, but when you start adding better parts, you're jacking the price up. So for $300, you get what you pay for. So that's basically everything on this. One of the major cons is it does take AA batteries. It takes 4 AA batteries to run the servos. I was smart and I got rechargeable batteries, so if there's ever a problem, all I gotta do is pop off the battery box, take out the batteries, stick them in the recharger. I have a fast recharger, so within about 2 hours all my AA's are charged. But you can buy a 2-cell nickel metal hydride that will do what you want, but this one actually doesn't have a charging point. My T-Max does. What other cons? I really don't think there is any. I will say that, oh yeah, the axles, the stock axles are plastic. I don't like that. That's just looking for something to be broken. Of course, a metal exhaust pipe would be better. But other than that, it's a very nice truck. Especially if you're wanting to just start out and just get your feet wet with nitro and see if you like it or not. I absolutely love it, but remember, nitro is a hell of a lot more maintenance than electric. Electric, you plug in your battery, you go, unplug, you're done. With this, you have a pre-run setup and a post-run setup. Once you're done, nitro is I can't remember the word, but basically the fuel has a tendency to suck in moisture. So when you're done, you have to either completely run it out of fuel, and since the fuel does have oil in it, because it is basically a two-stroke, it's basically a diesel, but it runs on 80% methanol and 20% nitromethane. But if you change things, it does have 12% oil, so you got to put that factor in. Let me think if there's any other. There really aren't any other downsides to this. I mean, I did change out the receiver to a Fly Sky because, I mean, it has ABS, so the wheels won't lock up. Oh yeah, here's a big one. The brakes, the only brakes are the rear tires. So that sort of sucks. But you can always figure out a way to put some disc brakes on if you would like. And seeing that this doesn't have the ability for a reverse or anything like that, you can use that third channel for brakes or whatever you would like to do. But usually it's the second channel. No. Yeah. The second channel that's used for throttle and brakes. So you could just figure out how to put some hydraulic brakes on this, get a master cylinder and pistons all the way around. Really all you need is pistons in the front, and just let the back brake continue by using the it brakes right at the spur gear. And it does come with a slipper clutch, which is very nice. Overall, very nice truck. You get what you pay for. I'll end with that. The shocks are stock. Everything on this is stock, except the batteries, of course. I changed to AA. And I am running Traxxas. It comes with everything you need to run it. It comes with your bottle. I always run Traxxas. I will not run, in my Traxxas engines, I will not run anything besides Traxxas Top Fuel. 20%. 33% gives you more power, but more heat. Honestly, this thing's fast as hell in the first place. But this isn't even my fastest or my biggest one. So, that's pretty much it for this one. If you have any questions, like usual, comment below. I'll do my best to ask what you can. If you would like to know how to do the break-in procedures, there's a lot of people that have weird-ass break-in procedures by heating up the motor to 200 degrees, then starting it. Honestly, as long as you go by what Traxxas says, you're going to be fine. Like my T-Max, it does freaking wheelies, and it weighs 18 pounds. So, that's basically it for this one. Camera lady, anything you want to add that you can think of? I will caution, make sure all your bolts are tight when you get it. When I got mine, one of the tie rod screws was a little loose, so the tire could wander some. So I had to tighten the screw down. But other than that, that is pretty much it with this. Remember your infrared thermometer. You're going to need a flathead screwdriver. Just for people to know, the high-speed throttle is 2.5 turns out. Tighten it all the way down. Don't tighten it to the point that it's so hard you can't even spin it anymore. Just tighten it till it's snug. And then 2.5 turns out. My hobby shop owner actually told me 2 turns, and that gets me a little leaner, which gives it more power. So, but it heats up more because there's not as much oil to keep it cool and keep it lubricated. So yeah, you went over the engine, plastic gears. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of room for upgrade with this, but I believe this is a relatively new, and it's either the Rustler or the I can't remember which one it is, but the parts are interchangeable, like the shock towers, the bulkheads. Oh, I don't think this has bulkheads. This isn't a 4-wheel drive, but the shock towers, the A-arms, basically everything on this thing can be made aluminum. But you do that, you're going to be adding weight. You're going to need to go to either a 2.5 or a 3.3 instead of the stock Pro 0.15, which honestly for this little car, it's not heavy. So the 0.15 is, or 2.5 cc's, does the job. If you can get into a place that has enough traction, it will do wheelies. It won't do it from a standing start. You have to get the engine up to some speed, get it running, just get it to a rolling start, and then gas it 100%, and it'll lift the front tires. On asphalt, if you just gas it from a standing start, you won't have any control for about 2 seconds, because it will basically just lift the tires up, not all the way, but to the point that there's not enough traction to steer because all the weight's on the back tires. So that's it for basically a medium-term review. I will be doing a long-term review when it comes time, but I did a short-term, so this is a medium, and I will be doing a long-term when it comes time. Remember, clean your air filter. Dirt is this thing's biggest enemy, because if you get dirt in the engine, you are screwed. And another big thing, remember, infrared thermometer. Doesn't touch it, but you still get perfect. So you can actually see it use a little laser to point at the right direction, but you can actually just put it right up on it to get the most accurate temperature. Please either get the nickel metal hydride battery pack or the rechargeable AA's. But other than that, we are done with this review. I will be doing another in a couple months after I've seen what it can do on a racetrack and all that stuff, what breaks, what doesn't. But until then, peace.